We're taking you live to Antalya, where the Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan is going to be speaking alongside members of the Gaza Contact Group. Let's listen in.
Esteemed members of the press, today, as of this morning, under the title of Two-State Solution, we have hosted Gaza Contact Group meeting, and with the participation of other countries, we continue to our meeting in an extended format. Palestine, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, and Indonesia foreign ministers have attended this meeting, but at the same time, the General Secretariat of the OIC and the Arab League, the UAE, China, Russia, Ireland, Spain, Norway, Slovenia, Nigeria, and also from European Union, we hosted those representatives. We would like to say welcome to them and to their delegation. Welcome to Antalya. In today's meeting, we discussed the humanitarian situation in Gaza, but at the same time, we also discussed the latest developments unfolding in the occupied territory. The increasing aggression of Israel has been discussed with our counterparts. In order to make sure that the permanent peace can be established so that we can realize a two-state solution in the region, we discussed what kind of diplomatic steps can be undertaken in the international field. The permanent ceasefire should be brokered as soon as possible. Qatar, Egypt, and the United States of America indeed pioneered this ceasefire process, and we support it. So the humanitarian aid should be dispatched to the region without any interruption. And we are rejecting any kind of plan which forces the Palestinians to leave their homeland. And we also support the rebuilding of Gaza. On the basis of 1967 borders, with its East Quds being its capital, we are supporting the establishment and the foundation of an independent state of Palestine. And we call upon the international community to extend any kind of support needed for the realization of the foundation of the state of Palestine. Dear friends, what happens in Palestine damages the international law and humanitarian and the human rights. The aggression of Israel leads to the lack of order on a global scale. The aggression perpetrated by Israel to the Palestinians for the last 80 years didn't yield any results because Palestinians didn't leave their homeland and they still fought their fight. We are certain that Palestinians will live in peace and harmony under the roof of their own state. This two-state solution will be a guarantee for the future of Israelis as well. So we are reiterating our call for Israel. They should make peace with the Palestinians, and as the Republic of Turkey, we will stand by the rights of our Palestinian brothers and sisters in every platform. And in the afternoon, we will carry out the opening ceremony of ADF, and many sessions will be organized pertaining to the matter of Palestine. So I would like to thank all the members of the press. So without further ado, I would like to yield the floor to the Foreign Minister of Saudi Arabia, and then I would like to yield the floor to Mohammed Mustafa, the Foreign Minister of the State of Palestine.
شكرا أخي معالي الوزير هاكان فيدان على استضافتنا اليوم.
My distinguished brother, Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan, thank you very much for hosting us today. Today, the Gaza Contact Group and the international partners organized a meeting. And I would like to thank you for organizing this meeting, which was a very important one indeed. And as you have mentioned, we do believe that extending the role of the contact group is vital in relation to the relieving of the pain in Palestine. And I would also like to underline the following. There are certain aspects that need to be clearly known by everybody. We need to go back to ceasefire as soon as possible, which needs to be a permanent ceasefire. And we should end the pain and suffering of the people of Gaza. Plus, we should also take a step towards a permanent political solution, which is the establishment of the State of Palestine. And I would also like to underline the following. We are always objecting to this. Tying the providing of humanitarian assistance to ceasefire is not acceptable in any humanitarian value. People should have access to humanitarian assistance. Depriving them of this assistance is making this as an instrument of war, which is in violation of international law. Therefore, I would like to make a call to the international society that the humanitarian aid should flow into Gaza in sufficient amounts in an uninterrupted manner. And we want the countries to create pressure on this. And this should not be in connection to any criteria or any cause. We are, of course, supporting the negotiations pertaining to ceasefire, but our brothers in Egypt and in Qatar, as well as our friends in the USA, have some important efforts, and we hope that there will be an outcome in the earliest opportunity. We would also like to underline the following. Displacing Palestinians out of their homeland is something that we totally reject. This includes any type of displacement. Some people are saying that this might be a voluntary displacement overshadowing the threat, but this does not overlap with the realities. Depriving the people of Gaza from all means of life means this. If people cannot actually have a requirement of food, water, and if they're under a threat of a military attack, then if they have to leave their homeland because of all of this, this is not going to be a voluntary migration, but this is going to be a displacement and an isolation. We totally reject this, and we, for those people who want to present this in a different manner or attach a so-called voluntary adjective to this, is trying to actually overcome the reality. Depriving the Palestinians of their basic needs is what this is, and therefore we should always express this reality, and we should continue to work on this, and we do believe that this message is open and clear. Today we are determined to convey this message to everybody. This was what we confirmed during our meeting. The OIC and Arab League, the contact group, indicated that we are determined to have peace, not just in Palestine, but we want security for all countries of the region, including Israel. But this, if this does not provide the rights of the Palestinians, this is not something that we can accept. Thank you very much. To the distinguished Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan for organizing and moderating this very important meeting. Plus, I would like to thank all the participants of this meeting from the international platform and the various countries for participating in this. I would also like to thank the Foreign Minister of Saudi Arabia for actually organizing the works of the contact group between OIC and Arab League, and the Saudi Arabia for supporting this international alliance to support the two-state solution. Besides, in June, there will be a meeting organized in New York, and the steps that are taken for this meeting is also very important. We are grateful. This meeting is organized to accelerate peace and two-state solution efforts, and we're very grateful. We're also here to talk about what is taking place in the field, not just in Gaza, but also in Jerusalem and the West Bank. The Israeli army and the Israeli occupiers are violating safety and security. There is an economic embargo that is being imposed on these areas, and there are unlawful, inhuman steps that are being taken. We would like to attract attention to all of these. We are against these, but on the other hand, we are grateful for all the steps that are being taken at the international platform. forums, whether it's the Arab countries or the Islamic countries or other stakeholders who support the two-state solution, all friendly countries all over the world, and also those countries that have officially recognized the state of Palestine, especially in Europe. We are thankful to them. And to all those countries who have not recognized the state of Palestine, we want them to recognize Palestine at the earliest opportunity. There is one thing we need to focus on here, as everybody has mentioned. The priority in this meeting was ceasefire, and as early as possible, immediately, because this is going to be the correct step, not just to resolve the humanitarian situation, which has become unbearable, but together with that, for the reconstruction of Gaza and also to initiate a new political process. This is going to be a correct introduction. As the state of Palestine, we're working with our stakeholders, partners. We're working with Egypt and for other friends from the Arab world to reconstruct Palestine and the Gaza Strip. As you know, the reconstruction project was declared by the Arab countries, and the OIC and EU announced that they supported this. And we are hopeful that such efforts will continue in a rapid manner, and hopefully the reconstruction conference that is going to be hosted by Egypt will take place. We are supporting this, but there will be international organizations taking part in this as well, and we also need to take over and take the steps for the reconstruction of Gaza, because if this does not take place, we will not have stability in the region nor in the world. Hopefully these efforts will lead to a conclusion, but as the Palestinian government, we are doing everything we can so that we are successful, not just for the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip, but to have a unified administration of the Palestine state to unite Gaza and the West Bank. The reconstruction activities shall continue, and of course we will continue to reunite the Palestinian institutions. Our reform activities shall also continue, which we believe is a duty to our nation. This is something really important. The free establishment of a free state of Palestine, a sovereign state of Palestine with East Jerusalem as its capital, is our main aim, and hopefully we will actually host you in Palestine.
Reuters. My question is for Egyptian Foreign Minister. Mr. Minister, ministers who spoke at the opening of press conference already commented about efforts of displacement of Palestinians from their homeland, but I wanted to ask this question to you, since you are the Foreign Minister of the neighboring country to Gaza. As you know, U.S. President Donald Trump suggested that U.S. should take control of Gaza and all Palestinians should be removed from there, and plenty of countries are willing to take in Palestinian refugees. So what's your take on the U.S. policy on Gaza under Trump presidency, and do you think a return to a ceasefire is possible under these circumstances? Thank you.
شكرا جزيلا. في البداية أود أن أتقدم بكل الشكر والتقدير لمعالي الوزير حقان فيدان على هذا الاجتماع.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank
شديد الأهمية. المناقشات التي دارت خلال اجتماع المجموعة الوزارية العربية الإسلامية والذي تلاه اجتماع آخر للمجموعة الموسعة مع عدد من الشركاء الدوليين.
We have organized the extended Gaza Contact Group meeting, and very important matters have been discussed. Naturally, we were able to discuss certain matters. Faisal bin Farhan, and also as the Foreign Minister of the State of Palestine mentioned, the ceasefire was our top priority in our discussions, and we have been cooperating with Qatar so that we can broker a ceasefire. And we are doing our best so that some of the Israeli captives can be released, and hopefully the Palestinian captives will be released as well. And we are working very hard so that we can make sure that the peace can prevail in the region. And we have been working very hard. As you know, on 19th of January 2025, a ceasefire has been brokered, and Israel should abide by this ceasefire, and Israel shouldn't abstain from fulfilling its responsibilities arising out of that ceasefire agreement in question. Well, the establishment of a ceasefire and its full implementation will also facilitate the process of rebuilding Gaza, and the conference to be organized with the aforesaid theme. This plan has already been adopted. This plan is not only about a rebuilding process, but at the same time, through this plan, the Palestinian people will be able to continue living in their homelands. And we are expecting participants from all the stakeholders, private sectors, civil society organizations, companies from different countries most probably will be attending this international conference, and that conference will be of high importance. And hopefully the early recovery process will be initiated thanks to this international conference. There are some other important matters. Who will run Gaza? Who will govern Gaza? This matter will be discussed as well. And the civilian politicians, first of all, will be elected. They will be governing the Gaza, and then they will govern the whole state of Palestine, and we will ensure the territorial integrity of the state of Palestine. The police forces of Palestine will be trained as well, and hopefully an international peace force will be appointed to the region. With regards to your question about the deportation and the forced emigration of the Palestinians, the stance of the European countries, Arab and Islamic countries, is crystal clear. We are certainly rejecting the forced emigration of the Palestinians. So there is no legal ground which can legitimize it. So no one can deport or can send the Palestinians from their homeland by force. So we either voluntary migration or involuntary migration, it doesn't matter under what kind of disguise it has been uttered, we are certainly rejecting any kind of deportation. So the Palestinians should stay in their homelands. If the Palestinians are sacked from their homeland, it means that we are giving up on the Palestinian cause, and that's what the Israelis want. They claim that there is a land and there is no people, no Palestinian people in the region. That's what the Israelis are claiming. So that's why we will continue to advocate for the Palestinian cause, and we will make sure that the Palestinians stay in their homelands, and we should put an end to the aggression of Israel. And we should also prepare the ground for the early recovery process. We should provide temporary shelters to the Palestinians, and we should provide their fundamental and basic needs so that the Palestinians can stay in their hometowns, in their homeland. Let me reiterate once again, we are rejecting any kind of deportation and forced emigration. This is a red line for us, and we will never allow it.
My question to Foreign Minister of Indonesia regarding to President Subianto's statement about Indonesia's plan to medical eviction for 1,000 Palestinians from Gaza who are injured. This statement maybe was misunderstood. Some saying that Indonesia might be approving of a plan to displace Palestinians from Gaza. Please, can you explain this statement from Indonesian side?
Thank you for the questions. Indonesia has been supporting the fight of the Palestinians since a long time, and we're in a strong belief that the only viable solution for the conflict that happened is two-state solutions. That's first. The second one, we're in the same principle, the same frame of thought that any displacement, I think I've already mentioned this also earlier, before, that we strongly reject any displacement of the Palestinians out of their homeland under any pretext. The third one, as a staunch supporter of Palestinians' independence, Indonesia feels that we are ready to give any assistance, to give any help, should there be any need for Indonesia to do so. And then, of course, the underline is everyone, every stakeholders, every countries in the neighborhood, in the region, has to agree with any proposal that we have. So basically, everyone has to give their consent on the effort. Of course, that's the position of Indonesia. We're willing to help, we're willing to give assistance, as we have been doing all these years. We're willing to provide more assistance if there is need to do so. And of course, we always support the two-state solution. And after this meeting, thank you again for Minister Hakan Fidan for convening us in this forum. This is a good forum to consult with everyone regarding the situation, regarding the fact on the ground, what is happening. And thank you very much for giving us this opportunity.
Well, thank you very much for your interest. Thank you.
So if you're just joining us here on TRT World, you have been listening to foreign ministers from the Gaza Contact Group meeting in Antalya, Turkey, as part of the Diplomacy Forum that is taking place there. They represent nations of Turkey, Palestine, Egypt, Indonesia, Qatar, Nigeria, Saudi Arabia, and Jordan. Many of them talking about the need to broker peace in Gaza, as well as a number of other issues around the war in Gaza. Atli Abbas joins us now from Antalya with more on this. Atli, what more have we been hearing from these foreign ministers?
The message of the foreign ministers of Organization of Islamic Cooperation and the Arab League, known as the Gaza Contact Group, was, I think, very clear that they have conveyed a common message of peace following a meeting here in Antalya. This is their first meeting in Turkey, just ahead of the official opening ceremony of the Antalya Diplomacy Forum, which we will be hearing Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan as well as Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan in the upcoming hour. So the theme of this year's Antalya Diplomacy Forum is reclaiming diplomacy in a fragmented world. Now, of course, that has a particular focus on Gaza. And this Gaza Contact Group was originally established back in November 2023, right after Israel started its attacks in October. And the common message, the common goal of this group is first to establish a permanent ceasefire in Gaza, to deliver humanitarian aid in the besieged enclave, and eventually to find a two-state solution to this problem. Now, in their remarks, we have heard the ministers underlining the worsening situation in Gaza following Israel's violation of the March ceasefire. And Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan also warned that pressure and threats on the West Bank and Jerusalem had also intensified, while the prospects for a two-state solution is steadily awakening. So these ministers have confirmed their determinants to concentrate their efforts on securing a permanent ceasefire in the region, ensuring the release of hostages and detainees, and guaranteeing a full humanitarian access to Gaza. Now, they were also asked about the situation of displaced Palestinians. They have strongly once again rejected any plans to displace Palestinians, Gazans especially, from their homeland. And this group, Gaza Contact Group, has confirmed that they will be working, they will continue to work on their efforts until a ceasefire, a permanent ceasefire, is established in Gaza, and peace, security, and stability is permanent in the whole region. Now, this meeting is a sideline meeting during the Antalya Diplomacy Forum, which I have mentioned there is going to have the official opening ceremony in the next hour. And we will be hearing more high-level guests, meetings, world leaders, diplomats, academicians from all over the world, focusing how diplomacy can be implemented to find a common solution to global crises, with a particular focus on Gaza as well as the war in Ukraine.
Asli, thanks for that. Asli Atbas updating us there on the remarks from the Gaza Contact Group in Antalya.